Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, January the 23rd, 2024. Well, for the most part of today, it actually was not the easiest day to trade. Not until the very end of the day, and that was actually at the closing bell when Netflix announced their earnings and the stock jumped from 492 to 532. So that did produce a nice jump in the futures market. But up to that point, we did see, later in the afternoon session, the market did start to tick up. I'm not sure if that was in anticipation of the earnings that were coming out this afternoon, or whether that was just due to the regular order flow. But I'm going to start here on the NASDAQ. I'm going to stick with the hourly chart. The larger picture has not changed. In case you're brand new and this is your first stop in here to listen to my work, I am counting this as a minor fifth wave up, and that minor fifth wave began off of the, let me just get that date for you, the January the 5th low at 16,381. So we're counting a minor fifth wave up, which will consist of 5 waves of minute degree. Minute 1 and 2, I believe, are complete. We are still within minute wave 3. And as I left off last night, I was discussing that I had actually left the 3 up here. I believe it was still there when I made the update last night, but I removed it actually this morning. And I may have done it last night. And the reason that I did is because I was leaving open the possibility that because we were not pulling back, if I had to consider that we were correcting this run, we were not even reaching 0.236, not even a bare bones minimum pullback. So it continued to demonstrate that there was some underlying strength in the market. There was an underlying bid that continued to hold the market up. We did see it drop down to 17,409 this morning, but quickly recuperate off of that level and then just continue to move higher for the balance of the day. Now, in between all of that, folks, it was not an easy trading day, particularly if you're a day trader and you're trading the NASDAQ future or the S&P future. They were very jerking high, jerk lower, going in between, working sideways, not really being congealed, so to speak, in terms of we're seeing that follow through to the buy side or follow through to the sell side. They were quick, they were sudden, they just did it and they were done, and then came the next one and that was done. So it was not the easiest day to trade. And in fact, I got lots of folks who were not the happiest of traders today, just because a lot of it was not necessarily due to bad trading. It was just the circumstance. It was just the way that the markets were. And so it became very difficult. And so in each one of us, I have to add that each one of us, when we get into that predicament, or the market is in this predicament of no decision. No directional decision is really being made. We're not really going down. We're not reaching any support levels, not really going up. We're not reaching any resistance levels. We all get to make a choice. Either we can sit there and do battle with it and just not be a winner, no matter what you're trading. Maybe you're trading an ETF, maybe you're trading the options, maybe you're trading 0DTE options. Whatever it is you were trading, it got bounced all around today. It was really kind of a decision that you make. It's like, well, you know what? I think my best trade is not to trade. And sometimes that is going to be the case. So where does that leave us? Well, now that we are now heading higher again, and Netflix earnings are out, and Netflix is continuing to actually now continue to go higher, now trading at 534. So it's going to continue to just provide a lot of support for the NASDAQ to continue higher. And again, not knowing what, that Netflix earnings are necessarily going to overflow to other stocks. But if I just take a quick look, no, not that I can see. I'm not sure that Netflix has got any magic chips. They don't. It was all based on, I believe it's based on partially on now the deal that Netflix has made with WWE, Worldwide Wrestling. And so and that they'll be carrying those on their stream, on the Netflix stream. And if anybody knows that WWE is an extremely popular amongst the masses, and so it I'm sure will earn a lot of new subscribers on Netflix, and will provide some additional revenue down the road. So with that in mind, I'm back and I'm looking at this minute third wave, which actually now is not complete to me. So I've removed that 3. And I'm considering that here we have 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 4 of 3, and now we're in 5 of 3. So this 3, the minute 3. So where do our fibs come in? So what we've done is I'm estimating that this was wave 1 of 3. And where do we go from there? The fib relationship here is that wave 5 is related to wave. So I draw my extension up to here, and then I trace it quickly and put it up over to here, and then I get my measurements for wave 5. The most common is equality. So that's 100%. So where wave 5 would be equal to 100% of wave 1, that number is 17,822. So before that, we do have 0.618, which is not the most common. It's actually not even the second most common. It is the third most common, but it comes before both of those other numbers. So 0.618 comes in at 17,664. Also, what we have in there, and now we've broken above, which would be the second time. So, and this goes out, I believe, to the C wave. I'm sorry, but I just got to take it out to C. Yeah, it's the C wave. And so we've now surpassed it twice. So I'm going to go over there to the C wave, and I'm actually going to remove it because it's neither support nor is it resistance. But for the C wave, what are we looking at? There's our next one. The C would be equal to A, equality once again, at 19,517. Now we have successfully surpassed the 618 for wave C, and that brings me back down. I go back out of that, go back down to my hourly. So what does that begin to tell us? As I have been discussing, that this rally may get some strong legs left in it, and the push, as I have described, will begin to throw us into a level, these additional levels, where we are looking at those much higher numbers. So these, like I've discussed before, 1.236, 1.382, those, so it's the red one and the green one, those are for the irregular B wave. So that's outside of what we're looking for, the C wave. That's within primary wave B. So for it to go up that high, then we're surpassing the most common Fibonacci relationships for an irregular B wave as it relates to wave A. So again, that count goes all the way back to the primary A wave and how it measures out to what this primary B wave can be, how high it can get. So we surpassed the flat part of it because it got above 16,768. That was the previous high from 2022. So once we got past that, it throws it all into irregular. Now we've really kind of marched up and getting deeper into the irregular. So for the closest one that I can say that relates to primary B, it's going to be 18,060. That's our level. But more important now, as we track this out, is going to be the count itself, the structure. So within intermediate wave C, which began here, we have 5 waves of minor degree. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in 5. And I don't have to worry. Wave 5 can be the super extended wave. which it's looking like it could be. And because wave 1 is the shortest. Wave 3 outdoes that. So wave 5 can outdo wave 3 if it wants to and not break any rules. That's actually my point. Okay, coming back down. So what are we looking at? We're looking for the minute wave 3 of minor wave 5 to pull in and complete. So far, I've got 1, 2, 3, and that looks like that could have been 4 as we head up. Now, the other count that will come into play here is that until it breaks that high at 17,585, that's the high of the internal third wave. So the 3 of 3 got up to 17,585. This is 4 of 3. Now, we break that level, so we get to 17,596, let's say, we run the possibility that what we have is wave A of this small 4, wave B of this small 4, and we come down yet again. And likely back to that level at 17,409, a little bit lower, but I would think we can get pretty close to being flat. We've gotten up to 17,560, 558. So we can get as close as we can to 85, and it would be ABC flat. Right now, it still could be A, B, and we're going to come down and we'll come in below 17,409. That's still out there. That's possible. What will negate that is we rally and we get ourselves above 17,585. Now, when that occurs, our next level of resistance is going to be via the minor fifth wave, and that's where its equality comes in, where minor wave 5 would be equal to minor wave 1 at 17,597, we're going to call it, or basically 17,600. That is a resistance level, period. That's a resistance level. Now, I imagine it's going to be a pretty strong. And the reason I say that, and I'll be going over it, is that not S&P's got also a strong call wall, but it's up at least 100 points from about 100 points from where we are in the S&P. So again, here in the NASDAQ, I would imagine that we're not that we got a put wall or a call wall at 17,600. I do not know that, but I would imagine that because it's a large all-time high in uncharted water, so to speak, uncharted territory, that there may be some resistance there. Now, the fact that it's never been up here before could present us with a picture of like, well, there's going to be no resistance there. Why would somebody build up a position and say it shouldn't go back beyond that? Because we have nothing to base it on. So once again, we could fly right through it. And if we do, then for minor wave 5, we would then go to our next reading, which is way up here at 18,376. So you can see how the market is building itself because these fibs, that's what we have left. Now, because we have no other points to come up with to say that's resistance or that's support because it's never been up here. So we have no price points above where we've been to point to say, well, the market should reach that level. So these are all Fibonacci relationships. And so depending on how you use those Fibonacci relationships, you're going to maybe come up with different numbers, but these should be pretty common if our counts are the same. So again, I am looking at 17,597 to 17,600. A break there brings us back in line with this minute third wave. And again, with inside of it, the fifth wave would find resistance at 0.618 resistance at 17,665. And then the equality, again, is at 17,822. And for the minute third wave, it's 1.618 of minute wave 1. That fits cleanly. So my thought process is that this third wave will extend and get itself up into between 17,822, 17,844. That's the zone that I'm looking for to complete wave 3 and then give us that larger fourth wave decline. I was looking for it here. We had the possibility, we came down, but it's internal versus larger. And then, and here's the ticket also, folks, that if we get up to this level, and I put a 3 there, the most common retracements, they may be Fibonacci 382, but with just in terms of an Elliott move, the fourth wave of one lesser degree becomes first up, and that would be right here. So we get up here, we get up here, I'd only been, then we're shortening it, right? Because we're only looking for the correction to get back to the fourth wave of one lesser. Because that's the one lesser degree. Now, whether it comes down and creates another new low for this sequence, so be it, then we'll make the adjustment. And then we do it also for the upside. Right now, I'm considering 17,409 as the completion point for that wave 4. If we come down again, then I'm going to have to make an adjustment there. So everything else stays pretty much in line. We got the 8 and the 20 kind of going nuts, but they're now both just hugging the rally. We have the 50 pretty much just pointing higher, but getting intersected several times today. And we have the 100 and the 200 both still pointing higher. Now, on the RSI, close to that high, but not that close to making a new high in the RSI. So it has room to push up into these levels, to be honest with you. Here we have the MACD. You would consider that it's very reflective. Remember what I said about the trading today? Not very smooth, kind of very choppy. Well, there was very little momentum generated in either direction. Now, up or down. It kind of stayed up because of what we saw at the end of the day. And this kind of perked its nose up because of what we saw at the end of the day. So there's still plenty of room before either one of these indicators would either turn to being overbought or producing a sell signal. Over in the S&P, also not necessarily an easy day in the S&P, but look at that one. End of the day, ding, 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 ding. This RSI, much nicer. Now, here we have, this is the concerning part. That high, this high, you see where it is? There. Higher high, lower high. Higher high, lower high. Not necessarily a comforting position for the relative strength index to be in, because you're kind of going, it kind of zipped up there without a whole lot of strength. Fair enough. The whole day was kind of, if we look at the volumes, a little bit on the low volume side. And I can do that real quick by going over here and we just take a peek. Just over 1 million. Now, I have to tell you how this is measured, Howard. As an old trader that I am, we would measure that usually by 11 o'clock Eastern, that's when the S&P future was counting over 1 million. So at 2 p.m., actually 5 p.m., right? So an hour after the close, it got to 1,087,000. And the NASDAQ was sitting at 501,000. Now, that's not pukey volume, but you'd be thinking that from the moves that it made, finishing up just short of 100, it should be a little bit better volume, but it wasn't. So back to the chart. Same count in both. We're in a minor fifth wave, and within that, we're in the minute third wave. And guess what? We are getting ready to finish it. We're just underneath the 0.618 at 49.03. It gets a little bit sketchy because here we have where I am counting minuet wave 1 of minute wave 3 to this high at 48.17. And then I go over and I measure this wave 1 and I take it up to the bottom of what I am going to count as wave 4 of 3. Okay, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, all of this larger third, and we're in the fifth. Just reached 0.618, and then the market closed. Most common is 100%, and it's at 49.21. And that can be reached right away in Globex. If we continue to look at Netflix, yeah, 533, so it gained a little bit more since the futures market closed. We shall see. Above that, we have 49.50. Above that, we have minute 3, 49.66. 100% gone, already achieved, doesn't have anything to play anymore. Our next level for the minute third wave is to come in at 1.618 times the length. So of minute wave 3 times the length of minute wave 1, 1.618, 49.66. Outside of that, we do have minor wave 5 at 49.92. And, you know, that still is a possibility to contain and hold the whole thing. Now here in the S&P, and it's in the SPX. So again, that call wall is at 5,000. SPX, 5,000. Right now, there's still about 48.64, 49. Yeah. So basically against the close, where the market closed, it was about 49, about 48.94, 48.92. So about $30. So there's still about $30 premium in the futures market over the cash. So if we've got the cash is going to get up to 5,000, then what we're basically saying is that this index will only really get up another six points, or so 30, 40, 48.70. So I think that it will get no, that just brings it to 49. Excuse me. So it needs a lot more. For this to go up 100, then you're looking at the cash market would need to, that would be 5,000. The cash market would be there, but we'll see. But there's a call wall at 5,000 in the SPX. In the ES, not sure where that call wall is building, but here we are staring at 5,000. So we don't really have any markers above 49.97. I mentioned we're going to get some, but right now, because I'm looking for minute wave 3 to complete, we get a minute wave 4 again, same deal. Whether we get up here or whether we get up here, wave 4, minute wave 4, would be expected to come back into this area right there. And then we get a minute wave 5. And that's that minute wave 5. Well, it in and of itself could extend. So right now, wave 3 will be the longest. So we're pretty safe there. It just cannot be the shortest wave out of 1, 3, and 5. So once it becomes the longest over 1, then I am okay with how high wave 5 wants to get, because wave 1 would be the shortest wave. So we're not breaking any rules there. And it opens the door for a lot of, for that 5th wave. So, but anyway, I'm not saying right now that this is completing wave 3. I mean, we just have, look at the same deal. Here is the 1 hour MACD sitting. Hello, we just kind of gave a buy signal. Hello. And this one, higher high, new all-time high, lower high by a lot, right? Once again, it was on this January the 21st where we got this nice high, and then we pulled back, even though we made a higher high yesterday early, and now we make another higher high. So it's lower high. What's it tell us about relative strength? So, but I'm going to look for this to continue, and then we pull back. And we pull back into here in that 5th. And if it continues to go up on what I'm going to term as crappy relative strength, It throws a lot of signals. Now, the 4-hour chart did still lower high, but in overbought. This lower high, right? Third one, higher high, lower high, and turn at the same time. So again, the internals to the market aren't as fantastic as you'd like to see at all-time highs. So for tomorrow, I am actually still going to be looking for a little bit more. We can get it in the Globex session. We can get it overnight at some point. And then we start a pullback. Again, my measurement's going to come from here to wherever it tops out. And that's going to be in this, but this is my first area of support for a fourth wave. Whether it stops here or whether it gets to there or whether it even goes higher. I'd still be looking for it to come. So here's our resistance, 49.03, 49.21, 49.50. It's all related to that minute third, and it's all related to the minuet 5 within the minute third. All right, this is where I'm going to kind of complete it for today. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, we have the flash S&P Flash US Services PMI and the S&P Flash US Manufacturing PMI. And those are both come at 9:45 a.m. Eastern. Outside of that, zip, nothing. We have GDP on Thursday. So again, we could get up here and then put a nice wave 4 in and then still cruise higher because we got plenty more earnings to come out. And let me just see what we have in the earnings front coming tomorrow. Before the open, we have AT&T, Abbott Labs, Progressive, Freeport McMoran, Kimberly-Clark, Textron. But after the close, oh, here we got one of the big boys. Tesla reports tomorrow. IBM reports tomorrow. Lam Research reports tomorrow. Seagate. And there's a whole bunch more, but those are the big ones that I think a lot of people will be looking at. So those are earnings for tomorrow, plus some of the numbers for tomorrow. So again, hopefully it's not going to be just a sit and wait type of a day, that we'll get some intraday movement before the earnings reports. And our next update will be on Wednesday, January the 24th.